We are extremely excited and honored to have Moushumi Bhowmik with us today. And the title of her lecture demonstration is called Tuning the Voice. A lot of you have been attending all the lecture demonstrations in this series and must have heard and experienced my rather ill-planned and erratic kind of a moderation. So today I've decided not to bore you with my routine introduction to University at the Margins. And we are really grateful to Moushumi that she has joined us today. And the journey that Moushumi is going to take us through today is one such journey of people who are forced to the margins due to capitalism, caste relations, whom we are not able to come in contact with in our everyday lives. However, Moushumi is helping us, and Moushumi is bringing these by recording these people and by recording their stories. She is with her interactions with these people, we observe how they intervene in our lives, and they continue to intervene. And these are people who row boats, who sell wares, who sell fish, vegetables, and they're also musicians who carry stories from a land that they've left behind, stories from a home which is across the border, and they sing about those spaces. Moushumi has been doing great work with an initiative called the Traveling Archive, where they've traveled across the length of Bengal and Bangladesh, and now are also looking at communities in London. And Moushumi is going to tell us more about this. And what is also significant about this project, and I have been in touch, so I have been listening to Moushumi for many years now. And what is very special about her interaction with these people at the margins who continue to intervene in the discourse of our everyday lives, and who continue to question the boundaries of our discourses. What is very special about this project is that these are not simply these recordings are not simply what do you say? They're not simply data. They are lived, they are experienced. And Moushumi, through her songs, is also like she's like an embodied archive herself, where she very evocatively brings these stories, these narratives, these songs to us through her singing. And she is a singer and writer. And I request her to kindly start the session and take us through this journey without any further delay. Thank you so much, Moushumi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you see me?
I can. Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So, I see that lots of friends have joined, so I should not feel so nervous anymore. Mm-hmm. But the problem is this, that I don't think I really intended to talk so much about the Traveling Archive, but because we initially started to talk about because when we started to talk, when Anubhuti suggested that I join this this program that they've planned, and they were talking about voices and how voices are trained and things like that. And then I thought that I could talk about the voice in the context of the work that I do, as well as, and not just as a song collector or a recordist or a traveler through songs, but also as an artist myself and as a singer. So, which is why I thought of calling this talk Tuning the Voice. So, tuning the voice, so I will go into the Traveling Archive, but it's not going to be all about the Traveling Archive. I hope that's all right. But I mean, I do have, there are ways by which the stories I intend to tell will connect with the Traveling Archive.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I hope that's all right.
No. That's
So
perfectly, I think. Yeah.
but my problem is that I'm a really bad actor, so I just could not see myself as, you know, actually addressing an audience, because I'm at home, I'm alone, and it just feels very strange. So I'm going to do it as if I'm just talking to you one to one. You know, you're sitting here in this room. So uh, the tuning the voice, when I thought, so we need to pay attention to both words, tuning and the voice. So there is this very famous book which is almost like a manual, a bible for sound artists, and it's called The Tuning of the World, and it's by Richard Murray Schaeffer. And I did not really think about that title when I thought of tuning the voice, but I remembered the book after I wrote the title. And The Tuning of the World, where tuning is a noun, tuning is a property, is the name of a property. So it is the tuning of the world, which Murray Schaeffer is talking about. And there it's very beautifully written that, you know, and he's quoting someone else where he says that if we think of the earth as one large instrument to which strings are attached, and let us try to understand the secret of its tuning. And by that, he is actually talking about all the different kinds of sounds that are part of our lives, of which we are a part. And the question is, when we say let us look at the secret of its tuning, we're trying to listen to those sounds. So our work is also, and my personal work is also, largely about listening. And I think when I'm saying tuning the voice, I am talking about tuning as the process of tuning. So tuning as a process, as a verb, something that you do. And so when you tune the voice, so you're trying to reach a tone, you're trying to reach a note, you're trying to reach a key, you're trying to reach a sound. So in order to reach that sound, what you're doing is you're actually trying to, you have to first listen. You have to listen in order to try, you have to listen to something in order to try to reach it. So even when we are tuning instruments, so if there is some kind of a referral. So the question is here, what is the referral in this case? In my case, the story that I'm trying to tell. And what do I mean by the voice? So do I actually mean by this voice, the voice that's talking and singing? Do I just mean that? Or am I talking about voice as in, the voice that speaks? And when we say giving voice to something, so the voice that expresses itself, expresses ideas, and the question then is one of voicing, voices and voicing. So, what do I want to voice? So what do I want to listen to first, and where do I want to take my voice? And in order to understand that, the question is one of my concerns, what moves me, and what troubles me. And I think in this time, when we are sitting here in our own homes and actually talking to each other, but we're so far away, when we cannot touch, when we cannot feel the touch, when we cannot be close, it is a question. This is a time when I'm more concerned with what is it that troubles me. And I think many of us are concerned about that. And what is it that troubles me? And what is it that I'm trying to voice? And what is it that I'm trying to tune myself to? What am I trying to listen to? So the traveling archive does listen to voices that are hidden. So when Anubhuti was asking me, you are mainly, you work with marginal voices. I think the question of what is the margin and what is at the center is a very critical question. I mean, is the margin really a margin? The margin is a large space and the center is actually very small. So why don't we turn it the other way around and not think of, what we are thinking as being a marginal idea, but more as something that we can make central. So I was coming home the other day. I have hardly left home over these last 3 months, like most of us. But I went to meet some friends with 2 other friends, and we went because we were very worried about one of our friends who's just lost his job. And all these things are happening now. So it's happening all around us. It's happening to us. So we were coming back. It wasn't that late, really. It was only 11 o'clock. And in these months, there is often, the streets are wet. There has been a rain. So as we were coming back, and it's not far where we went to meet our friends. They don't live very far. So a friend would drop me home and then they would go. So we were coming, and the city, it looked so dead to me. The city, 11 o'clock, of course, you don't expect to see it bustling with life. But still, you would find people on the streets, you would find shops open, you would still find life on the streets. But now even, it doesn't have to be 11 o'clock in the night either. It can be any time now. And it seems as if life has been sucked out of our lives. And this is what this time is doing to us. And am I listening to this? If I am, how am I going to voice this? This is what I mean. How am I going to tune my voice to express what I have seen? Those yellow eyes of the city, almost dead, but dead eyes looking at you. Everything looks very limp now. It's almost like, when your muscles, they kind of lose. I'm not a dancer, I can't tell you, but someone who is a performing artist, a dancer, will be able to actually understand, express it. But it's like that, your body is kind of, your shoulders, everything kind of hangs. You can't hold yourself. There's something, the tautness of life, it's almost that is missing. So something is gone. What do you do? How do you write about that? So last night, as I was preparing, I did write something. How to write about this these yellow eyes, these dead eyes, how to write about that. So I don't usually write. I I know I write kind of melancholic things and kind of depressive things. I am a bit like that, and I can't help it. Um, but I tend to also write about hope. But I don't know. Yes, last night I just couldn't. I just wrote about death. I wrote about death, and throughout all the words that I wrote were about death. And what I wrote, I mean, I also started to sing it. So I made a little recording of what I was saying so that I don't forget. So that is also my process, because I don't write music like that. I listen to myself, and then I I I listen to myself and I sing. So I looked at the words, and it just came to me where I don't know. It's an unformed song. It is not yet. I don't. Maybe I'll never sing it again. I don't even know if it's a song. But I did write about about the dead city, about the dead port. মৃত নগরী, মৃত বন্দর, মৃত ঘরবার, মৃত অন্দর। মরে গেছে মন, মরে গেছে আশা, মরে গেছে স্বাদ, মরা ভালোবাসা। So it's a dead city. It's a the port is dead, so no ships come to the city anymore. The inside and the outside, everything is dead. The heart has died. Hope has died. It's the death of hope. Desire is dead. And love is dead. মরে গেছে, পড়ে আছে, কে নেবে কাহাকে তুলে, কে দেবে গোর, কে নেবে ছাই, অস্থি ভাসাবে জলে, মরে গেছে, পড়ে আছে, কে নেবে কাহাকে তুলে, কে দেবে গোর, কে নেবে ছাই, অস্থি ভাসাবে জলে, শূন্য, সব শূন্য, সব শূন্য, 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 সব শূন্য, 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 সব শূন্য, সব শূন্য, মরে গেছে, পড়ে আছে, কে নেবে কাহাকে তুলে। And now we are not even being able to do the rituals for the dead. We can't even say goodbye anymore. I mean, it's the strangest of times. And it's not only people who are COVID patients that this is happening, but the loss of contact between people, that is the greatest loss. So we've socially distanced ourselves and not just physically distanced ourselves. And it's happening. And because it's happening, so we don't know who is going to even, look after the dead. That's why I felt this, everything is shunno, everything is empty, everything is it's, and this is what I heard that day when I was coming back, that night when I was coming back. This is what I heard. This is what I tried to tune myself to, my voice to. So this is also time of the rain. And rain is beautiful. I mean, in spite of whatever virus there is and whatever, hunger there is and whatever pain there is, when the rain comes down, the rain is so beautiful. many years ago, this city that looks so dead, 25, maybe 25 years ago, or even earlier, I'd written this song, which is about the rain. And again, how do you tune yourself to the rain? See, I grew up in a place called Shillong. It's in the hills, and I have a friend here sitting and listening to me. She's also from Shillong. So this rain, the rain used to come down on the tin roof of our house. So I have a very special relationship with the sound of rain. And this rain, I'd written like little vignettes, little images I'd written. I would see, but I wrote it not maybe thinking of Shillong somewhere at the back of my mind, but I was here in Calcutta when I was writing this song. So this song was, I've written several songs about the rain, but this song was, বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে ভেজা আকাশ ভেজা মাটি ভেজা পথে আমরা হাঁটি গা ভিজে যায় রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে. So the images were just about an ordinary day, a day of rain in the city. So somebody had put some clothes on the terrace and the rain comes, so the sari, mother's sari, is getting wet. ভেজা উঠোন ভেজা বাড়ি ভেজা ছাদে মায়ের শাড়ি জল জমেছে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে পথের পাশে. Then again, so marginal, yes. This little boy who is there, who perhaps lives on the streets, lives on the pavement. পথের পাশে ছোট্ট ছেলে ঝমঝমিয়ে বৃষ্টি এলে. Where does he go when the rain comes? He's scared. ভয় পেয়ে যায় রে কোথায় লুকোয় রে. Where does he hide? কোথায় লুকোয় রে বৃষ্টি পড়ে রে বান এসেছে ওদের বাড়ি মায়ের আঁচল ভাতের হাড়ি. Now the imagery, it's becoming more hard-hitting. So this pretty song is talking about more dark things. The rain might not be dark, but the streets, people, their lives, there is darkness in there. So when the rain comes, he is scared and everything is getting wet because everything is actually exposed. It's out there at the mercy of the wind and the rain and the sun. And so that this 25 years ago has become even more extreme, what we see now, the time. So I tune myself to those sides then. What do I tune myself now? How do I tune my voice now? So my friend Ronnie Shen, who is this beautiful photographer, And he's made this amazing film, which is called Cat Sticks. If you've not seen it, it shows on Mubi and you could watch it. It's worth seeing. And many of our friends have actually worked on it as well. I wrote a song for it. And this song, written just 2 years ago, just a year ago, 2 years ago, talks about another kind of rain. And it talks about death and rain. So you have to constantly, I've grown older and my seeing has changed, my listening has changed. So my voicing changes. So I tune my voice differently now. And now when I sing, so you said you would show me the sky. Where is this that you've brought me? You said you would show me the sea. Where is this that you've brought me? Here, death sits at the corner of the street, lurking, waiting for its hunt. Here we spend our nights of love in lovelessness. Here it rains, and it rains, and it rains. So this is really honestly a very dark rain, and the song changes, the voicing changes, and then it becomes this. তুই যে বলেছিলি, I want to say this when we voice. So even if I say I'm not an actor, but we voice different times through our voice. So when I sing Brishti Pore Re, I sing, there's a lightness. Brishti Pore Re, Brishti Pore Re. But when I start this song, it can't be light. So it is, তুই যে বলেছিলি আকাশ দেখাবি এ কোথায় নিয়ে এলি তুই যে বলেছিলি সমুদ্র দেখাবি এ কোথায় নিয়ে এলি তুই যে বলেছিলি আকাশ দেখাবি এখানে মৃত্যু ওত পেতে থাকে রাতে অপেক্ষা করে কেউ ফিরে দেখে না এইখানে প্রেম প্রেমহীন রাতে ছিন্ন ভিন্ন দেহ পড়ে থাকে কেউ ভালোবাসে না এখানে বৃষ্টি বৃষ্টি পড়ছে অঝোর ধারায় বৃষ্টি ঝরছে বৃষ্টি তো থামে না তুই যে বলেছিলি আকাশ দেখাবি এ কোথায় নিয়ে এলি তুই যে বলেছিলি সমুদ্র দেখাবি এ কোথায় নিয়ে এলি তুই যে বলেছিলি আকাশ দেখাবি So this dark rain that keeps falling and falling now on us, we tune our voices to this dark time. The thing is, when I was small, when I was a child, I was worried about my voice. because my voice was not so feminine. It was not so sweet. I couldn't sing at a high pitch. It wasn't thin enough. It wasn't sweet enough. And it was dark. Something was dark in it. And I was given also the idea, there was everyone around, mostly, so I began to think, oh, I wish my voice wasn't like this and it was like somebody else's. Like you grow to think that I wish I wasn't dark, like your skin. Your voice is like your skin. So you become conscious of your voice. And it took me a long time to realize that my voice is my voice. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. But it takes time. It really takes time because there is a mainstream understanding of the voice, of the feminine voice, of femininity in the voice. I'll play you a little song here. So yes, the Traveling Archive works with marginal people. Orunendu Dash, who lived in London, an architect, was he marginal? In a sense, yes, because not many people, all through his life, he wrote songs and he sang. And he certainly came from a place of privilege because he could make this journey to engineering college, and then later he went abroad. But still he remained kind of a fringe artist. Very few people knew about him. And we, from the Traveling Archive is something that me and sound recordist Shukanta Mojumdar, we've created this. And it's almost over 15, 16 years that we've been working together. And I've been doing this from even longer before. So yeah, Orunda, who lived in a place called Bexley Heath, he died 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, in Calcutta. He wrote this song for his daughter. It's a lullaby. I'll play this for you. Tell me if you can't listen to it, all right? কালো বলে ভালোবাসা দিতে যদি কারো প্রাণে সংশয় চোখ দুটি তার আছে শুধু যেন Can you hear it?
Yes.
কালো বলে ভালোবাসা দিতে যদি কারো প্রাণে সংশয় চোখ দুটি তার আছে শুধু যেন হারাইছে সে হৃদয় ঘুমাও রে ওরে ঘুমাও রে নীলা আপনার কিছু নাই এত রং আছে এই পৃথিবীতে কোন রং বলো চাই ওরে ওরে ঘুমাও রে নীলা আপনার কিছু নাই এত রং আছে এই পৃথিবীতে কোন রং বলো চাই So this song, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Right. So the song, he wrote it for his daughter, and she's beautiful. So she's dark-skinned, she's beautiful. And he was putting her to sleep, and he would sing her this song. And it's about the many colors that are there in this world. And if anybody hurts you because you're dark, because you're black, then just don't worry. Don't worry, because there's so many colors in this world. Tell me, what color do you want? শত মানুষের ভিড়ে যাবে বেছে নেবে তুমি একজন বাহিরে যে রঙে ধরা দিক কেন হলো না রঙিন শত মানুষের ভিড়ে যাবে বেছে নেবে তুমি একজন বাহিরে যে রঙে ধরা দিক কেন হলো না রঙিন ঘুমাও রে ওরে ঘুমাও রে নীলা ভাবনার কিছু নাই এত রং আছে এই পৃথিবীতে কোন রং বলো চাই ঘুমাও রে ওরে ঘুমাও রে নীলা ভাবনার কিছু নাই এত রং আছে এই পৃথিবীতে কোন রং বলো চাই So Orunda, we recorded him in we went to his house and we recorded him. He was 80. He was about 80, I think, at that time. And he was so happy that we went and recorded him. But because he has been recorded by musicians here, but he's not very popular. And he again had this whole complex about his voice. He thought, well, I don't have a voice like Hemanto, or I don't have a voice like Manna De, or, so I don't have a class, the typical beautiful voice, the kind of male voice. So there's also expectations from the male voice. And he always had this thing that, oh, I'm not a singer really, but he would write songs. And there's two things that are happening in this song for me, or several things. One is, of course, recording Orunda, and somebody who wrote hundreds of songs, his life with music, in music, spent an entire life, and died. Lived a marginal life, really. Lived on the fringe. And lived so hardly matters, really. Sometimes I think life on the margins is much more beautiful than, I don't think I'd like to be at the center. So, but the other thing is this, that here is a father. So again, another stereotype is broken here. The father has written this song. He's rocking the child. He's putting his little daughter to sleep. And he is singing this song for her. He's singing, Ghumao re, ore ghumao re Neela, bhabnar kichu nai. Don't worry, Neela. Eto rong ache ei prithibite কোন রং বলো চাই. Tell me, what color do you want? So it's a reverse thing for me, because as a mother of a son, when I've brought up my son, there's been a lot of music as well. And we go from the story of color and from parenting. I want to share with you a book, some images from a book, and I want to talk about how songs get made. And so how from the image, how I could hear the image. So I think you just have to give me, well, I think I have to also share screen with you, but let me just do this first. Okay, wait. So, share screen. Can you see?
Yes, yes.
You can see. All right. I'll make it full screen. Wait, just a second. And now then, view. So, okay, I'll do a slideshow. Yeah. So this is a book written by a very famous artist, Meera Mukhopadhyay. She was a sculptor, and she also wrote for children. So this story is, it's called, this is a story of a boy called Kalo. So he's the dark one. And it's about Kalo o Kokil. So the koel bird and the dark one. So the dark boy and the dark bird. That's the story. So I would often read the story to Arjan. And the story is about Kalu, who would go taking, I think, the goat for grazing. So they were two brothers. They would go and he would, and they lived with their mother. So he would take the goat out, but he would also take his flute with him. And he would sit there, and he would the goat would do its own thing, and he would do his own thing. So he would play the flute. And as he played the flute, there was a song that that he would sing. And then the koel bird, the kokil, became his friend. So she started to come to him and started to come and sit perched near him and would listen to his flute. So when I would tell Arjan the story, whatever was written in the book, I'd start singing it. So I would sing this song and I would just make it up as I went along, but I don't know why. And it's not like, so what is the question of training? I don't know. There is so much that comes to us that comes to us through generations of listening. So we not only carry our own listening, but we also carry impressions of listenings of the past. Which is why I think when I started to sing this song, I mean, I did not grow up in a particularly religious household or anything. So this whole thing of Kirtan, of Krishna, all of these things were not there really in my environment. Yet when I started to sing this song to Arjan, somehow it became a lilt from it had traces of the Kirtan in it. So I would sing, ওরে কালো কালো তুইও কালো আমি কালো তোরি মতো ওরে কোকিল কালো আমিও কালো তুই কালো আমার মতো, and I'd just make up the words as I told him the story. And then, of course, the story becomes, then the story goes on where Kalo, there's a storm. So again, storm here. And a tree falls on Kalo. He's hurt. He's at home. The bird comes looking for him, can't find him. And then, so the bird, then he starts to play the flute and the bird comes back to him. So that is the story. So how do I close this now? How do I go back? This is okay. What do I do now? Screen sharing.
You are back.
So so this this song, I just felt like sharing this with you, because see this image, and so this image, it became a song for me. These images became song for me, and I tuned my voice to what I saw, not just what I read, but what I also saw in that image. And also I remembered past tunes, past melodies, things that I carry unconsciously in me. And then I would sing the song to Arjan. Of course, later, over the years, as I've worked, as we've traveled, as we've recorded so much music, the kirtan, I'm a little bit more familiar now about, how the kirtan is sung, and I can't sing, but I know a little bit. Maybe I've listened a little bit more, and I've a little better understanding of what the kirtan is. But I can hear that, even when I was singing then, I was carrying in my voice traces of, I don't know what. But I think there are sonic impressions of the past that are brought to us in the present and which we carry to the future. And how this happens is because what is sound anyway? Sound is, does sound not leave its impression? Is sound really ephemeral, or does sound not leave its impression on whatever it touches, on the time that it touches? This is one of the questions that I keep asking myself in the course of my work. So, so this then we could. How long have we gone on? Should I stop now, or should I go on?
No. Go on.
Okay. So what? Can you ask whoever is shouting to unmute?
I muted them. Yeah. Carry on.
All right. Yeah. So so in this time, again, when we talk about impressions and this time and the voice and tuning ourselves. So just think of what was happening just in the pre-COVID time, and think of our streets actually swelling with people, swelling with and filled to the brim with voices, and beautiful voices, voices of resistance, all over the country. And it was so wonderful that there was such a togetherness in that. It's so ironical, really. It's so strange. It almost feels unreal that from that to this, where we are all sitting, it's not like, I was thinking, these things that we're doing now, we sing in our home, and the song is reaching you somewhere else. To me, all of you are listening to these songs. But the thing is this, that I sometimes think that, remember, have you seen the blue, the Three Colors Blue by Kishlovsky? And remember that last scene where there is this music that is playing, very beautiful music. And it's playing somewhere. But and it's touching all these people who are separated. It's touching them in their sleep, in their waking, wherever they are, far away. This same music is flowing to so many people, and it's touching them. It's making them think. It's making them stop. It's making them cry. And it's touching their grief. But what we were doing then is we were actually walking hand in hand at that time. And we were singing. And beautifully, we were singing together. We were thinking in songs at that time. And we were thinking, we were dreaming. Just 5 months ago, 4 months ago, we were doing that. So then at that time, but I don't know, somehow it also felt like this is a moment and it's going to pass. It might not last. Always, we know that these things come and they go. So yes, it was like a wave. It came. I don't know. Somehow there was a premonition that maybe this is not going to last. Otherwise, why did I write this song? So I wrote a song, and which is about borders, because the concern over the citizenship bill, over the act, the bills, everything, the laws that are changing, and the repression of people, of minorities. The question of the border is really, the border keeps, it's become more and more pronounced now. So we went to the border, to a river border, on the 21st of February, 21 February. Some friends, we went together. Some of them are listening now. And we went together, and we just went and touched the border, and just touched the unreal thing that the border is. And we went there and we sang songs, and we just, it was a thing of touching the border and crossing it. Not just crossing it in our minds, but crossing it in our dreams, and actually living that dream for that moment. And it felt important to do this. But of course, it was only a moment, and it would pass. So I wrote this song at this time. So I wrote a song where, again, if we think about the process, what do we carry into songs? And I'll just demonstrate that to you. So this is a song which is about moments. Ei shob muhurto, just moments. So it's ei shob muhurto ashe এই সব মুহূর্ত আসে আসে এইভাবে মুহূর্ত আসে. So this is how moments come to us. স্বপ্নে ওড়ে রং নিশান, পাখি যায় সীমান্ত পারে. So the flag, the many-colored flag, it flutters in the wind in our dreams. And in our dreams, the bird crosses, goes from this side to that. স্বপ্নে ওড়ে রং নিশান, পাখি যায় সীমান্ত পারে. And carelessly it goes across the border. বেপরোয়ায় দেশ ও দেশ And then the line comes. কাঁটা তারে রক্ত ঝরে. So there is I had in my mind the image of this woman called Felani Khatun, who was killed when she was trying to cross the border by the border guards. And she lay there, she hung from the fence, bleeding. So that's the bird that I'm writing about here. Katatar is the fence, rokto jhore, so it bleeds. The fence is bleeding. এই সব মুহূর্ত আসে এই সব মুহূর্ত আসে আসে আর বাতাসে মিলায় পড়ে থাকে ছেঁড়া পাল নিশান. So the flag is also torn now and it's lying on the ground. ভাঙা ডানা পাখি বসে ডালে, ভাঙা ডানা পাখি বসে তারে, ভাঙা ডানা পাখি বসে তারে. So the bird with broken wings sits on the fence. এই সব মুহূর্ত আসে. So if you note this line, this last line that I sing, এই সব মুহূর্ত আসে. I'm actually quoting another song here, musically. Which song am I quoting? Some of you should know this. So we were singing the unsung anthem, remember, at that time? And you remember that line? Ratri prabhatilo udilo robi chobi purbodayo giri bhale গাহে বিহঙ্গম পুণ্য সমীরণ নবজীবন রস ঢালে. এই সব মুহূর্ত আসে. So I didn't even know I was doing this. I didn't even understand how I did this, but I actually did this. Because in this song about moments, I was actually referring to another song. So my ears, I was listening to a song that we were singing all the time at that time. So I'm singing about a song about moments and about momentary things, things which do not last, dreams which don't last, but we keep dreaming again and again. But again, I'm singing about a timeless song of Rabindranath. I'm actually remembering him, I'm citing him in this song. I think that is how we listen to this time, we listen to our time. So as we listen to the time, I listen to my street. Because I'm at home now, we're all listening to our environment in a different kind of way now. So do I listen to this time on my street? Actually, I do. How do I listen to it? So again, I'll share the screen now. There was somebody, now I'm actually going to the traveling archive. So we have been recording someone called Bhaktodash, and we've been recording him from 2010. 10 years we've been recording him. And we first recorded him because he comes to the street, to our street. And that's why we started to record him. And he comes, you can hear his song from the distance. You don't see him, you hear him first. He has such a voice. And Bhaktodash, I'll show you a bit of the street. Just a second. Give me a second. No. I'm a little confused. Just a second. Yes. So I'll just first play you a bit of Bhaktadash's voice. And you will know what it is, how powerful it is. Can you hear? Can you
Yes,
hear?
yes, yes, we can, we can.
So you hear that cry, you hear him crying in that song. That is his voice. And you can hear that cry from a distance. So actually, I realized when I was looking at my recordings, I realized that Bhaktadash has not come to this street for a long time. He's not been coming, and I am actually very worried for him. He comes, he takes the train when he comes. So I don't know what's going on and where he is, and if he is, if something has happened to him. I really don't know, and I am actually really worried for him. So this is, I will now share the screen with you. So, yeah. Okay. Is this working? Can you see the screen? No?
No, not yet.
Right. So, now?
Yes, yes.
You can? All
Yeah.
right. This is our website, and it's thetravelingarchive.org. And this is, I'm playing from one of the recording sessions. And you will see the street, I mean, I live on the 3rd floor, but you will see him. So. Can you hear all right?
Yes, yes.
हाँ हाँ তো ওকে নিয়ে এলে না তো যে কে একজন আসবে বললো
So this is very typical of Bhaktadash. Well, I'll tell you after he leaves. So there you see him leaving, and he'll turn the corner and he'll go, and then we won't be able to see him, but we will be able to hear him. And 10 years he's been doing this. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm back then. Is it all right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, this Bhaktadash has not been coming, and I don't know, because you see, when this is a recording from 2014, and Shukanta was making the recording, and he was saying, "Oh, you said you would bring somebody. Why didn't you bring?" He always says, "I'm going to bring another singer." He says, you know. So then you tell him, "So when?" And he'd say, "Oh, next Monday after next," or he'll say Saturday after next. And then, of course, that next means nothing, you know. Bhaktadash will suddenly appear. And you see these things there. There's at the back, and there's a little bowl in which he brings me little things. So he's brought me things from Kamakka also. So he'll always, before he leaves, he'll say, "Ma, I'm going to Kamakka," so then I'll give him some extra money. And every time over these last 10 years, been recording him again and again, but he's not been coming. I don't know where he is. I'm trying to think that he will come back, because in some ways his resilience is, he's such a frail man. Listen to his voice. I mean, this is no ordinary man. He has amazing strength. So, you know, like the people in Sundarban who've been fighting the storm, and they're not all going to die. They're going to rebuild their lives. They will. They have greater stamina and strength than a lot of people who are in the center. So the margin has greater strength in many ways. It's just that we need to assert that strength. The margin needs to assert that strength. And that strength is being asserted because, see, I'll end with the story where this street where Bhaktadash is not coming, but other people are coming. And they're bringing, now, people are just, first there would be one or two vegetable vendors or fish sellers who would come with their carts. But now there's more and more people coming. And very young men come, they come with their things and they sell. And now the cry, so on the street, the cry has changed, a new cry. So they say, "Shobji, Shobji, Shobji," they'll call. Now, what does this Shobji cry actually mean? It's a cry of desperation, it's a cry of hunger, it's a cry of loss, it's a cry of fear. But it's also a cry of resilience. It's a cry of trying to assert that we are there and we shall be and we shall live. So there is somebody called Shuripul who's been coming, and I have a fondness for him. There's many vegetable sellers who come, but I like him. I don't know, somehow something happens. So I wait for his call. Now I've learned to distinguish, you know, the different calls, and I can recognize his call. So I go down and buy. He also knows my doorbell, so he rings the bell. And then he'll say, "Come down." You know, now he can make a claim. So he'll say, "Come down." So, and then, but again, he's also not been coming, and now I'm worried for him. So I have to, how do I voice his story? How do I tune my voice to his story? In this telling, we don't always have to sing. In this telling is my voicing of Shuriful's story. Thank you. I think that's all.
Thank you so much for this absolutely beautiful journey and beautiful songs and very evocatively. And as you always do you do such justice to these stories, and which is why I very consciously did not say that you give a voice to these margins. I did not want to use that word, that you are the one who is actually bringing these things to us in the way of being the emancipator. No, you're not that. You actually you make us um, you make the margins intervene. That's, I think, that's very important. And when I spoke to Moushumi, like you said, I did not include that in my introduction. When I spoke to you, I had mentioned that that this series of lectures came from a music workshop that we were all part of for this month, where we were learning how to train our voices, how to sing, and this training was primarily in Hindustani music. But the people who were part of this workshop, they were certainly not um, from Hindustani music. What do you say? They were not brought up singing that music. So uh, from they were from Bhopal, they were from Uttarakhand, they were from Tamil Nadu, and they were all exposed to different kinds of musics in their upbringing. And there were people in whose families their parents, their grandparents sing Kabir, or there were people who have grown up singing protest songs in villages, and um, now they thought that by coming for this workshop, they could learn how to train their voice. And I was absolutely confused that such a big responsibility, and how is it that these musicians who and I'm going to call them musicians because they have been singing, and they're actually practitioners um, who have been singing for such a long time, and here they are in my workshop, and I felt completely what do you say, incapable of teaching anything. So, and which is when I made these extremely panic calls to different practitioners who come from different kinds of music cultures. And I also spoke to Moushumi regarding this, that how is it that the musicians that she meets, or how is it that she as a musician tunes her voice, or how does she train herself? How is it that in every song that she picks up, she is able to tell the story, which is a different story, and she's able to retain that life that that story captures and that song captures. And uh, and it is in this train that I thank you for such an important lesson, which is, yes, tuning the voice, but learning to listen. Absolutely, absolutely important. And I'd really like to thank you for all the beautiful things that you told us about today, and extremely vulnerable things also, which I'm sure we all have been thinking about. And recently, uh, with the migrant workers on the streets, we've been inundated with these margins, which we all this while could easily invisibilize. So it's not that we didn't know that these workers existed, but now it was as if the places that we occupy as center, they were not occupied by us anymore. These people were there, and we could not notice. And I'm really glad that you spoke about some of those stories, and you spoke about Bhaktadas and his songs, and I really hope that you hear him singing and coming into your street very soon. Without further delay, I'd like to ask anyone who would want to ask a question. The only thing is, I'd request you to raise your hand so that I can moderate this better. There should be an option of raising your hand on your screen. And if you're not able to do that, if you can just mention that in the comments, and I'll ask you to unmute yourself and speak. So someone has asked that are most of these recordings, Amita has asked, are most of these recordings done in the outdoors rather than in studio spaces?
But they're never done in studio spaces. They're all done in their field recordings. They're all field recordings. So we go traveling to all these different places and we record them. sometimes the field comes home, the home becomes field, because now we've been working for so long that we have a certain relationship with some of the people we've been recording for all these years. And so they come home, they come to my house and then record them. So yeah, that's how. But no, not in the studio, never.
Okay. Priyanka Basu has said that thank you for the songs and the words, Moushumi Di. As always, you take me home. Love. Tul is asking, will you share how you came to write? Okay, you will have to read the comments because I can't read Bengali.
Okay.
And maybe also sing it.
Oh my God, no, not today. They want to know about that. I don't know really how I came to write the song Ami Shunetsi Shedin. No, it's very difficult to say, you know.
You must sing that. You must sing that.
No, I mean, I've
It's a
sung it.
beautiful song. We've all heard it.
So yeah, I wrote it many years ago, and songs happen. Songs happen, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I move to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. Indrani Chaudhary has asked, how do one voice their trauma, especially when they are silenced by the center?
I don't know. I guess I really don't know the answer to this. I mean, collectively, I think alone it's difficult. Alone is not possible. Alone we can voice. I mean, the solo voice is also there, but I think if we do it collectively, then perhaps something happens, something moves. I don't know.
Okay, Tutul is saying we love that song so much and love you for writing and singing it. If there are any other questions, you could raise your hand or unmute yourself and speak.
So all my life, all this work I do, and then finally there's only one question people ask me, and that's about travel, the Ami Shunetsi Shedin. So that's this is the only thing I have to. I leave behind. Something else.
So yeah.
Has a single song. Sorry.
Yeah.
Has a single song featured differently in your travels across the border? On the border, you mean the same song is features differently on two sides of the border? Is that the question? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. It's a lot of songs are shared by different. I mean, across the border, many songs are. But just as the songs, there are regional variations. So the song changes according to. I mean, sometimes the border doesn't matter because the border ceases to exist if you're thinking of, say, if we think of Bhavaya, which is a form of song that's sung in North Bengal. So there, here in across, over a whole region, there will be Bhavaya that's sung, but with slight variations over this region. So it's not necessarily the international border that matters. But the same song may be sung a little bit differently in Gwalpara in the Dhubri district, or it'll be a little different in Kuch Bihar, the same song. But sometimes, say, Lalun. Lalun songs are sung across Bengal. And it really depends on where it's being sung. If it's sung in Birbhum, it's going to be a very Birbhum song. And if it's sung in Kushtia, it's going to be a very Kushtia kind of song. So there, it's more regional, I think. It's not so much about the border. Just the other day, we had Amanat Fakir from Murshidabad singing. There was a live performance that was organized by me, Rakesh, Roshan, and others of Tahadir Ghar Bari. There's a group who are helping migrant workers. So there, Amanat Fakir was singing in a style which is so Bangladesh, so I mean, I've heard in so many recordings that style of singing. So it is not also just a question of if they are like between Nodia and Kushtia, all right, because the border is there, but actually it's a shared land. So it's a shared musical tradition or musical idioms and phrases and expressions and forms. These are shared. It's not just that either. Sometimes it's through the cassettes or through the CDs, recordings. So popular recordings from Bangladesh come to this side, and folk singers listen to those and they sing like them. So in Murshidabad, you listen to a lot of singers who sing like the singers of the region, which is like Manikganj and Joshore and Faridpur, those regions, Bichhedgan, a form of song. So you hear very similar things as well. So different and similar across the board.
You're getting a lot of requests in the chat. So
yeah. So,
okay,
but there was something else. What kind of music is featured in the traveling archive? You have to see it. You can spend hours and hours. Go to our website, thetravelingarchive.org, traveling with 2 L's, and there's a lot of material there. And it's actually just maybe, not even 10% of what we've recorded. So there's a lot more, but this is there. So Julie is saying, while you were presenting, I could hear the azan from East London Mosque. Wish you were here. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Julie. I wish I was there. As a single song featured differently. Okay. And what kind of music? Okay. Yeah.
yes,
So
can you sing
what?
Chele Bile for me?
Chele
I
Bala.
love this song. Dying to listen. Amita Shireen.
Okay. I think I should turn on the light because it's getting dark in my room. Chilebala. Chilebala is a song about Shillong. Say Chilebala, the hills of my childhood call me. I can smell my mother in the air. And I can smell oranges. And in spite of the smoke and the smoke in the air of the city, I can still smell my mother's. I can still smell my mother, and I can still smell oranges. So I think yesterday it was really nice. I was listening to a talk by Richard Eaton, and he was talking about memory and how memory goes into the making of history. So how we write history, how we tell stories, is very much a question of what we remember. So this is also in some ways my personal history. The smell of oranges. ছেলেবেলার পাহাড় আমায় ডাকে, হাওয়ায় হাওয়ায় মায়ের গন্ধ থাকে। ছেলেবেলার পাহাড় আমায় ডাকে, হাওয়ায় হাওয়ায় মায়ের গন্ধ থাকে। বিকেল বেলায় লুকোচুরি বাঁশের ঝাড়ের ফাঁকে, মায়ের গন্ধ ঠান্ডা হাওয়ায় মায়ের গন্ধ থাকে। ছেলেবেলার পাহাড় আমায় ডাকে, হাওয়ায় হাওয়ায় মায়ের গন্ধ থাকে। শীতের দুপুর রোদ মাখানো ছোট্ট দুপুর বেলা, খেলায় ছুটির দিন কাটানো সকাল দুপুর খেলা। ছেলেবেলা রোদ মাখানো শীতের দুপুর ডাকে, লেবুর গন্ধ হাওয়ায় কমলা লেবুর গন্ধ থাকে। ছেলেবেলার পাহাড় আমায় ডাকে, হাওয়ায় হাওয়ায় মায়ের গন্ধ থাকে। সন্ধে হবার খানিক আগে আমার দু চোখ বুজে, ছেলেবেলার পাহাড়টাকে নিচ্ছি আমি খুঁজে। হঠাৎ দেখি ধুলোর চাদর আমার পাহাড় ঢাকে, ছেলেবেলা পথ হারালো কলকাতারি বাঁকে। তবু আবার ছেলেবেলা ডাকে, ধোঁয়ায় ধুলোয় মায়ের গন্ধ থাকে। তবু আবার ছেলেবেলা ডাকে, ধোঁয়ায় ধুলোয় লেবুর গন্ধ থাকে।
Beautiful. That was beautiful. And people have been writing beautiful in the comments, and thanking you a lot for singing this. There's another song that one second. Okay, pardon me for my bad pronunciation. Seema Azad is saying very moving talk. I want to listen to Chitrakar Tumi Chile.
I have heard the story that she likes this song very much. So I have to tell you the story then of this song.
Absolutely.
So this, I was telling you about Ekushe 21st February, Ekushe February, the Language Martyrs Day, the International Mother Tongue Day. So this song, it is a story. It is a story about a painter, and it is one of my early songs. But it's very interesting that I'm sometimes a little surprised that I wrote this song. I'm really surprised that I wrote this song so many years ago. Strange how, again, how we like I was saying, the sonic impressions of time. And this song, in some ways, it's very strange because I wrote this song before I went to Bangladesh, and in some ways, before I started going to Bangladesh. And in some ways, it is, I've said this before and I'll say it again, that in some ways it is like, how sound precedes an image in a film. So I somehow feel that this song was almost like a sign of something that was to come. And that for the last 25 or more years that I've been going to Bangladesh, this song happened before that. Why I'm saying this is because this song is about a painter. This song is written to a painter. So a painter whom I met in Calcutta, who lived on one of these rooftop apartments, like you said, Barsati in Delhi. So Chile Kotha. So and he was from Bangladesh. He got caught in what has become now this huge political, almost like we are caught in, how do you explain? This time is with the government, with the government at the center, in this time of total fascism and repression. But there were beginnings of this, of course, and we know that it began a long time ago. This song actually talks about that time, because this is a song where the history is this, that this friend was sent back. He used to live in Baroda and he got sent back because he had given his papers, because he was a student in Baroda. So he had given his papers for renewal, because he was married to somebody here. Given his papers for renewal, the papers didn't come back. He was well within his limits to stay, but the police came to his door and wanted to send and deported him. And then, of course, because his wife was here, so he came back. He made certain compromises. He did not go back for the next 5 years because he then decided that he must have Indian citizenship if he has to actually have some kind of safe life here. So my room is becoming very dark. My light is so yellow. So I'm going to turn on another light. Just give me a second. Yeah, that should be better. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this song Chitrakar, the narrator, the singer is saying that, you Chitrakar, or painter, you sit in your rooftop house and in your rooftop apartment, and you paint pictures. So then what is it that you're painting? So, and he's painting the rivers of his land. He's painting the fish in the river. And then she says, then, oh Chitrakar, the water is turned red at dawn on the 21st of February, on 21 February. And because it's a very big day for Bangladesh, for Bengal, and so the water turns red because it's a dawn, as well as because there was a lot of blood that there were killings. So, and people lost their lives, protesters lost their lives. So then I quote a famous song of 21 February, the anthem of 21 February. Very difficult to translate these things, actually. চিত্রকর তুমি চিলে কোঠায় বসে ছবি আঁকো, চিত্রকর তুমি চিলে কোঠায় বসে ছবি আঁকো, ওপরে ওড়ে চিল. So the kite flies above your head in the sky. But there's a play on this word, and also chil has certain meaning for us Bengalis and the poetry of Bengal. These things, no point even trying to translate. ওপরে ওড়ে চিল দুডানা স্থির রেখে শূন্যে পাক খায়, চিত্রকর তুমি চিলে কোঠায় বসে ছবি আঁকো, তুমিও চিল হও. So you become the bird. দুডানা স্থির রেখে শূন্যে পাক খাও, তুমিও চিল হও, দুডানা স্থির রেখে শূন্যে পাক খাও, কলকাতার গলি কলকাতার পথ, দূরের রেল লাইন তোমার ক্যানভাসে, তোমার নদী হয়ে চিত্রকর, চিত্রকর তুমি তোমার নদী জলে মাখো, ওপরে ওড়েছি দুডানা স্থির রেখে শূন্যে পাক খায়, নিচে অনেক নিচে কলকাতার গলি কলকাতার পথ, পথের ছোট ছেলে দুপুর রোদ্দুরে খাচ্ছে ঘুরপাক, চিত্রকর তুমি তোমার নদী জলে মাছ আঁকো, চিত্রকর তুমি হাবিব অথবা সমীর আনওয়ার, কলকাতার টানে উজান ঠেলে এসে তোমার ক্যানভাসে তোমার নদী আঁকো, চিত্রকর তুমি তোমার নদী জলে মাছ আঁকো। চিত্রকর দেখো শীত যে শেষ হলো, ফেব্রুয়ারি এলো তোমারে প্রবাসে। চিত্রকর দেখো শীত যে শেষ হলো, ফেব্রুয়ারি এলো তোমারে প্রবাসে। 21শে ভোর বেলা তোমার ক্যানভাসে, তোমার নদী জলে সূর্য করে খেলা। 21শে ভোর বেলা তোমার ক্যানভাসে, তোমার নদী জলে সূর্য করে খেলা। তোমার বুকে বাজে ফেলে আসা সে সুর, তোমার বুকে বাজে ফেলে আসা সে সুর, বলো না কত দূর বান ভাসানো বাড়ি। তোমার ভাইয়ের রক্তে রাঙানো 21শে ফেব্রুয়ারি। I'll explain this. So this song, this is the song that is being quoted. So when I first, how a song grows, a song actually, you can say a song was written, it was written so many years ago, 25 years ago. The song is not a static thing. A song has a life of its own. So when I first sang the song, I would sing Tomar Bhaiyer Rakte Rangano. So you were across the border. You who came from the other side. You, your brothers, blood, colors, reddens the sky of 21 February. I would say you, yours. I would not be part of your story. I'd just be telling your story. I'd be talking to you. Chitrakar, you were different from me. You were separate from me. After years of going and coming, the border no longer. I have, in some ways, I think I've lived a life between and across borders. I'm very fortunate that I could do it. And now I will not say Tomar Bhaiyer. I will say Amar Bhaiyer. So when I sing now, I'll sing তোমার বুকে বাজে ফেলে আসা সে সুর, তোমার বুকে বাজে ফেলে আসা সে সুর, বলো না কত দূর বান ভাসানো বাড়ি। তোমার ভাইয়ের রক্তে রাঙানো 21শে ফেব্রুয়ারি। আমার ভাইয়ের রক্তে রাঙানো 21শে ফেব্রুয়ারি। বান ভাসানো বাড়ি আমি কি ভুলিতে পারি।
Thank you so much. It's really difficult to speak after such beautiful songs. And Seema is saying, wow, beautiful. Thank you so much. Ankur is saying, such a beautiful evening with such amazing music, feeling grateful. So wonderful to hear Sophie So wonderful to hear you again. A beautiful gift. Aparna is saying,
Oh,
really
my
sweet
friend
voice and
Sophie. I
you.
must tell you about Sophie.
Okay.
Sophie is a poet, a very, very beautiful poet. She's from Wales. And we have traveled together and recorded the sounds of water in Wales and as well as in in Bengal and in Sikkim. And we have also done little bits of performances together. But she lives in her car. She doesn't have a home, and she travels. So now she is caught somewhere in Portugal. She is just because she is also caught in lockdown, lockdown places across the world. So she is also caught in it. So she is not. She's there. She, her partner, and their two dogs, and they live in that vehicle. And so she is listening from somewhere very far. So that's amazing that Sophie is listening. Yeah.
Yeah, she's saying, love you, my beautiful friend. Okay, Tultul has written something in Bengali which you should read yourself.
এত সাধারণ and yet অসাধারণ.
Indrani is saying, thank you so much for this wonderful evening. Abhinav is saying, Moushumi ji, this is so beautiful. There are inherent shades of melancholy in your voice, and it has a wonderful, wonderful ability to take the listener along with it. Thank you for this experience. Julie is saying, thank you. Yeah, Aparna is saying, really sweet voice, and you. And Amita is saying, beautiful. We can live today with memory of your voice and my mother. Sharik is saying, so beautiful. Ankur is saying, this is so beautiful. Your voice is so melodious. Tultul says, thank you. Lovely, beautiful, everything. Okay. And Buddhaditya has written, as usual, you've taken me to a void space full of opportunities, Moushumi. How do we tune our voices to the world around us, the trees around us, birds, and not just to people around us,
Yeah.
especially when we are mostly cooped up in our rooms?
Yeah. Well, we will not be cooped up in our rooms forever, and we've been with trees before, and we will be with them again. And I think it's not that we can go back, and we should not even think of going back to where we were. I think we can tune our voices in a way, to my mind, it seems that we need to tune our voices to the need of this time. And this time is telling us that we cannot go back to what we were. We have come to this because of what we were. And I think we need to think more, and therefore we need to think about not just human life, but life on earth, and life in general, life of the river. That is why I was telling you about Sophie, because we went and recorded the sound of, I'll tell you something very beautiful. So we went to a place where there is a dam. There's a dam, and so there was a place called Twerin. And Twerin, there were for many years people struggled. They did not want the dam. And they struggled, but they failed. And the dam was built, and a whole village was drowned. And we know these stories from here. As this on the 30th, this environmental law is probably being passed, and now all our forests, all our trees, or all our rivers, anything can be done to any place. And in fact, they've used this emergency situation to do all this. So we're not just talking about people. Anyway, we're talking about everything here. So when there was a slogan of this movement that they had in Wales to save the village, and there are myths around the village, and they say when it dries up, when the dam dries up, and they can see the spire of the church the steeple. And they've also said that because it would not just drown life now, but it would also drown the dead, because the dead are also lying under the ground. So it would, when a dam is built, it also drowns the dead. So it drowns the past. So because it drowns the past, they had the slogan, which was Kovioch Truerin. Sophie, pardon my pronunciation, but that's the kind of thing that she said. Kovioch Truerin. Remember Truerin. Never forget. Don't forget. So also we should not forget this time, this lockdown. We should not forget. And if we don't forget, only then we will actually be able to think of what brought us to this lockdown time, what is bringing these viruses to us, what is causing this havoc to our lives. Not just our lives. It's not just about us humans. It's every life that we're talking about. If we must live, if we must keep this earth, then we have to actually cover your COVID, I think.
Okay. I missed some comments which came on earlier. So Ratish Dev wrote that it's a wonderful journey to margin from a tiny center. And Nirmala has written, thank you so much to Moushumi for leading us on this powerful journey. And one second. Okay. Sadia has written from, okay, Sadia has contacted us from Bangladesh. She was not being able to access the link.
She's
Yes.
an architect. She's a beautiful singer.
Okay, okay. So she's written, your words always stir emotions and thoughts inside. Thank you so much. You are love. And Buddhaditya has written, so paradoxical yet true. Prithva has written, got an air of happiness in this drab evening. Wonderful. And Amita has said, what a nice question. Thank you for putting it across. Okay. Okay. Would you like to tell us something about the song that I have also been sharing, but about Gach, the song that you recently published?
Oh, it's an old song, though. Again, a song never. It's a song is born, but it grows. A song grows. So I've recorded it before as well, and I've recorded it with my colleagues in Oliver and Ben and Roz and Flora and many others. So that is to a full orchestrated version of the song. And I sometimes sing it alone too. But Anusha Anadil is a very, very beautiful singer. And I'm sure most of you know who she is. She's very famous as well. So Anusha has always loved this song. So then during this lockdown, we were talking, and so she said, will you send me the song? So I said, why don't we sing it? So that's how we did this recording. I recorded at home on my little recorder, and some friend, they just made a video recording of my singing and sent to her, and she sang an amazing harmony. And again, I think we learn to place ourselves in certain ways. And also, I think it's so, she's such a beautiful singer. She's also so eminent as a singer. But it's, for her, she kind of stood back. And she decided that she would just stand back and so we decide in songs, where to place ourselves. And it's not necessarily that we need to always come to the fore. Daniel Barenboim had said this very beautiful thing about classical music. In a series of lectures which you could listen to, it is the Wreath lectures that of BBC, that Daniel Barenboim gave, maybe in 2005, I can't remember now. But if you look up Wreath lectures and Daniel Barenboim, the pianist and conductor, you will find his lectures, and it was called, in the beginning there was sound, it was called, these lectures, and in which somebody asked him, so what do you think classical music is elitist? And he said, elitist? What do you mean by elitist? He said, think of an orchestra and think of the harmony with which, and the place of the musicians and how they play and how they are happy to share space. And think of, a whole section in which maybe a bassoon player, or I can't remember what exactly he said, but I'm just random, I'm saying bassoon, say a bassoon player gets to play maybe 2 notes, but waits for about 40 minutes and waits at the back, waits quietly playing with everyone else and just plays those 2 notes. And everybody listens when he plays those 2 notes. So that is the kind of thing I think it is very hard for us as musicians. We always want to be, we have such huge, big egos, and we want to be so full of ourselves, and we think we're so important that we like to foreground our voices. It's a sign of a very generous mind, very developed mind, very sophisticated thinker, to have actually taken the position that she did when she sang this song with me. And God, there is a translation that is there already. So it is about the resilience of trees. And we felt that this song, although it's old, it can be sung. It needs to be sung. This is the time to sing it. That's why we sang this song.
Yes. Would you like to sing 2 lines from it?
Okay. I can. Do you want me to read the translation for those who don't understand?
Somehow with your songs, I've never felt the need to look at a translation. So
Anyway,
I sometimes feel glad that I don't understand Bengali. So,
all right, you don't need to understand every word. গাছ, আমি তোমার কাছে নত জানু হয়ে, গাছ আমি তোমার পায়ে মাথা কুটে মরি, গাছ আমায় তোমার বুকের মধ্যিখানে নাও, গাছ আমি বৃষ্টি জলে আমিও নুয়ে পড়ি, গাছ আমি তোমার কাছে নত জানু হয়ে, গাছ আমি তোমার পায়ে মাথা কুটে মরি, গাছ আমায় তোমার বুকের মধ্যিখানে নাও, গাছ আমি বৃষ্টি জলে আমিও নুয়ে পড়ি, আমি মাটির খোঁজে দেশ দেশান্তে যাই, বন্ধু যারা মাটির মতো তাদের খুঁজে ফিরি, আমি মাটির খোঁজে দেশ দেশান্তে যাই, বন্ধু যারা মাটির মতো তাদের খুঁজে ফিরি, বন্ধু তারা কোথায় থাকে, কোথায় ওদের বাড়ি, আমি মাটির বুকে মুখ লুকিয়ে জন্ম নিতে চাই গাছ তুমি কেমন করে ইটের দেশে সে কাজ তুমি কেমন করে মাটির গন্ধ পাও গাছ তুমি কেমন সহজ আলোর স্পর্শে জাগো গাছ তুমি আমায় বাঁচার মন্ত্র বলে দাও আমি মাটির খোঁজে দেশ দেশান্তে যাই বন্ধু যারা মাটির মতো তাদের খুঁজে ফিরি বন্ধু তারা কোথায় থাকে কোথায় ওদের বাড়ি আমি মাটির বুকে মুখ লুকিয়ে জন্ম নিতে চাই গাছ আমি তোমার কাছে নত জানু হই গাছ আমি তোমার পায়ে মাথা কুটে মরি গাছ আমায় তোমার বুকের মধ্যিখানে নাও গাছ আমি বৃষ্টি জলে আমিও নুয়ে পড়ি
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. If there are no more questions, then I think this is the perfect song to end it with.
Yeah.
And so, well, I think when I thank you, I'm not alone. All the people who have joined this session must be saying this with me. So, thank you, Moushumi, for indeed giving us the true lesson in listening to our streets, listening to dead roads, listening to the resilience of trees, listening to colors, listening to rain in all your different kinds of songs that you listening to sleep perhaps also in a lullaby. And I think listening is a lesson where one can learn to comprehend the world through the order of listening. And these songs in fact outweigh the visual. So like you said, we hear the sound first, and I think they somewhere also outweigh the visual, they enlarge the visual. And what we remember then is the lingering grain of, say, Bhakta Das's voice. And it might seem that these songs might appear to fade away, but in fact, they only fade away into permanence.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing all these songs with us, and I'm sure we are going to remember them for a very, very long time.
Thank you so much.
We don't feel like saying bye to you, and we feel like listening to you over and over again. Yet, I think we should close this session. Thank you so much, Moushumi.
Thank you
for this very, very, indeed, very special evening.
Thank you. It's been special for me, really. Honestly, it's been very, very good for me to do this. I just felt surrounded by friends. Yeah, I am.
Yes.
Thank you.